No, but like, how am I not legal still though?
How are you not legal?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't rent a car.
I mean,
No, you can't. You can't until you're 25.
but why do I have renter's insurance?
That's different because if you rent through your insurance company, it's the insurance company actually renting the car, not you. But like if you went to rent a car yourself, you wouldn't be able to do it because you're not 25 yet.
But that's why Uber exists. I don't need to rent a car.
Well, yeah, you're right. I mean, I'm not
exactly,
but
I don't need to be 25. That or I know I can't get certain hotel rooms.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember.
You have to be 24 to check in.
Remember this one time I went to. It was right after a girl and me were together, and we fucking like went to a motel. Like, yeah, we're gonna go do a motel, you know. And I walk in there. It was the first time I ever did anything like this, you know. So I walk in, and I walk up to the counter like, "Hey, I'd like to get a room." And they look at me like, "All right, just need your ID." And I pull my wallet out, my ID's not there. I'm like, shit. And I was like, use her ID. And at the time she just turned 18 or was just turned 19. Yeah. And they're like, no.
I wonder, well, I mean, I understand trashing the whole hotel room and everything.
Yeah. But it's crazy stuff.
I was looking it up because I was going to do a vacation and I was going to go to the beach for like a weekend. Mm-hmm. They're like, yeah, you got to be 25. I'm like, what the fuck? It's just me. Like, I'm not even on beachside. I'm like 3 blocks off the beach.
Just get a tent and just go on the beach.
Like I want to do that. Can we do that? Isn't that illegal?
Not everywhere. Some places it is, yeah, but
let's just let's do
some
it.
beaches it is.
Let's do an airsoft thing on the beach.
That'd be badass.
Like D-Day.
Like a fucking D-Day. Hell yeah.
Get little rowboats out there. We jump in, you start shooting each other.
I wouldn't want to go in the water.
The only thing is, if you get hit, you just drowned. You gotta go back to spawn. So
you have to swim back to the boat.
Yeah, fuck that. I'll be the Germans. I don't care. That would be something you need like thousands of people for, though.
Yeah, a whole bunch of people.
And just be like, I'm sorry, you can't use the beach. And then you got people up in the balcony shooting down stuff. That would be fun.
Why don't we just fucking go to Normandy and do it there?
Fuck it, let's do it. They probably still have some of the old bunkers up.
No,
still.
I'm sure they do. Yeah.
I mean, they're all like what national.
I'm sure there's some kind of landmark, and, and remembrance and stuff like that.
Remembering that World War II happened because we know it didn't happen.
Just like the moon landing, didn't happen. We need to do a Far Side episode sometime.
I want to. Why did we never get that off?
Because of He Who Shall Not Be Named. Because we wanted him to lead it. I got to reach out to him and see if he wants to do an episode of that one time.
Hey, He Who Shall Not Be Named.
I'm pretty sure he doesn't listen to the show. Be cool if he did.
So we can talk all kinds of shit.
Yeah. Welcome back to The Remote Control, everyone, a podcast where a couple of nerds just geek out about comics, movies, TV, music, and so much more. I'm the one who talks way too much, Robert Slavinsky, and with me is the guy who rarely talks at all.
Your boy, Skinny Penis.
So what's going on, man? How's it been?
It's been excited. We get to play Airsoft Wednesday.
Wednesday's Airsoft Day, yeah.
We're bringing all kinds of people, too.
Yeah, I got somebody coming. You got one person coming. Yep. Jordan is trying to get a couple people going. I don't know if they're actually going to go or not.
We're going to roll in. We're going to have like 27 people just for us.
Yeah, and those arenas can barely hold 12 people. So.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. We're going to be just might as well get in a firing line. Just wait till you see the whites of their eyes. Hold your aim.
What's been going on this week, though, for you, man?
Nothing really.
See any movies? Do any blow? Get any hookers?
I cannot say I've gotten any hookers. I am in a committed relationship. Actually, tomorrow's my 3-month anniversary. Seeing Pitch Perfect 3 tomorrow. I'm not really excited about that. Yeah, I'm not really excited for that. No, Jumanji was the week before. I don't think I've seen anything this week. I've been busy.
With what?
Designing stuff. Doing some odds and ends things that I've been meaning to do, but I'm one of those people that'll just put it off. Like, I'll do it later. And then it's 3 months later and I have a list of 75 things I need to do. That's been my week of doing this 75 things.
Okay, then. Makes sense.
Yeah, I've been busy. I've been adulting.
Yeah, what did I do this week? Let's see. I worked a whole bunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Watched good bit of stuff this past week. I watched John Wick 2. Finally.
Nice. How was it?
It's good. It's not as good as the first one. I feel that it drags a little bit. I think if they could have found a way to cut out 15, 20 minutes of the movie, it would have been a lot better. Mm-hmm. And honestly, the beginning of the movie, the first 5 minutes of the movie, wow, it's a pretty cool scene. It really doesn't add anything to the overall story. Mm-hmm. So I think they could have just kept that out. So that would have taken 5 minutes out. You know, so there's like little things that I saw
like the Star Wars Episode 8, like all of our beef with it, take out Canto Bite.
Yeah.
And that's,
I don't know why you jumped to Star Wars when we're talking about John Wick, but sure.
It's a comparison that all films have unnecessary shit in it.
Yeah,
sometimes.
Most films do. Let's see, what else did I watch? I watched The Disaster Artist. I did get a chance to see that.
No desire to watch it. Wait, honestly, the old one or the new one? Or what was the old one that the film's based off of?
Oh, The Room.
The Room.
Yeah, it's called The Room. It's very interesting. You know, the whole story of Tommy Wiseau and everything like that, I think, is really intriguing because there is something with him, mm-hmm. you know, and he's been a very private person. Like, even to this day, and they even talk about it in the movie, you never know where he's from, how old he is, you know, where he got all this money, because he is ridiculously rich, you know, and he just you don't know anything about him, you know, but he's just this weird guy, like very strange guy. And
he made a movie, we know that
he made a movie, but only he did it because he and his best friend at the time were told that they basically would never be able to be filmmakers or be in a movie or be an actor and anything like that, kind of. And you know, that's kind of what happens, and they're just like, hey, let's make a movie. And his friend in real life, you know, played by, and actually the two main characters are James Franco, who plays Tommy Wiseau, and his brother Dave Franco plays his friend Gregory in it. And you know, they perfect together. I mean, they're brothers, so you know they're going to play off each other.
That's why my cousin's no longer on here. Dave Franco, he had to go be in the movie.
But you know, the storyline between the two of them, like you can tell, and as you see a little bit of the story on why The Room was made, you kind of have an understanding of what was going on in Tommy Wiseau's life is kind of put into the movie. Yeah. You know, so it's very interesting. And I mean, The Room's a horrible movie. You know, it's not a good movie. It's bad. The acting is horrendous. The story is terrible. It's a bad movie overall, but it's one of those bad movies that you got to at least watch once, you know, and to appreciate good film today. But I mean, here's the crazy thing. I mean, they say that it cost probably around $6 million to actually make The Room.
Oh my god!
All right, so it cost him around $6 million, all out of Tommy Wiseau's pocket. He had no input from anybody else with money financially. It was all his own money. Nobody knows where he got all this money. Nobody knows. It
wasn't like a loan. It was cash.
It's his money, exactly.
Wow.
His money. So
hey, if you're listening to the podcast, man, trying to produce a $6 million movie.
But you know, he makes this movie for $6 million. The opening weekend, and this is kind of a spoiler for the Disaster Artist because it does, you know, talk about it, or it just has a little thing about it at the very end. But the opening weekend, the Disaster Artist made about $1,200.
The Disaster Artist.
Yeah. No. The Room.
The Room. $1,200. That's kind of bad.
Yeah. So you know,
that's a hard L.
So, but now it's actually made money now. Like it's actually a financial success. You know, and this came out in 2001. Yeah. So 16 years later, it's now a financial success because of all the midnight screenings that they do. That, you know, because it's a pulp culture, you know, a cult hit. You know, that's what it is. So, hey, and basically what they didn't do with the Disaster Artist, which I wish they kind of would have pushed in a certain way, is go out there and do it. If it's something, if it's something that you feel that you want to do and you can do and you're able to do it, go out there and do it, because you never know what can happen. You know, Tommy Wiseau is famous now because of this movie. You know, he hasn't done anything else. Yeah. You know, but he's famous and he made some money off of this movie. Like, just go and do it. If it's something that you love, something that you want to do, just go and do it. And I think that they should have pushed that a little more in the Disaster Artist, which they didn't. But
again, that's how we got to where we are today.
If you're smart about it, you'll get that message. You'll see the message in that. However, when you say about us here, that's all because of Kevin Smith with me. Kevin Smith is just like, go do it, and that's why I kind of went and was like, I'm going to do a podcast, and that's what I did. So
mine's Rooster Teeth. Rooster Teeth.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, normally when I say that, people are like,
Rooster
who's
Teeth.
Rooster Teeth?
I know Rooster Teeth from
Red versus Blue.
Red versus Blue. That's where they really, got popular, because they had Red versus Blue, and there was another show that they did back in the day.
Yeah, I can't.
And Red versus Blue is. I wish it was still as good as it was. I saw a recent episode.
Yeah,
it
got really
ago.
mainstream.
It's.
But like, it started out with 4 guys, and now look at that company.
Yeah,
and they do like 17 podcasts. Now we're 2 guys, and we're gonna take off.
We're taking off. We're actually getting kind of bigger every week. It looks like we're getting more downloads, more listeners. So
hey, we appreciate you guys, all 17 of you.
And honestly, because of all of you guys listening and everything like that, we want to continue growing for all of you, and we also want your input. We want to hear and see what you have to say about everything. So. Before we really jump into the show with everything, as I always do, I'd like to welcome all the new listeners, as well as all the the people coming back. And just remember, you can find us on Facebook under the Remote Control, on Twitter at the Remote Control. That's at the Remote CONTRL, as well as on Instagram. You can find us there. You can also find us on our website www.theremotecontrol.com. And on our website, we sometimes write articles and stuff like that. But we have some really cool things coming up over the next few years. Like, we really do. We have not few years, few months. Wow.
I mean, you can say years.
Yeah, years. Over the next few months, we have some really cool, exciting things that we're planning and pushing forward. Obviously, I'm sure you heard our skit last week for our T-shirts. We've launched T-shirts, so we're selling T-shirts now.
They're friggity fresh.
And we also, we're going to be looking at other ways to get you guys more involved and in touch with us here at the Remote Control. So keep your ears and eyes open for all of that.
We're making moves out here.
Making moves. Anything else going on this week? No, I don't think so. I watched Shameless. I watched all the TV shows. I watched.
Nice. How'd you feel? I'm sure we're probably gonna get into that later, but
Shameless. I'm not talking about till the season finale. So it's been a good season though overall. Really,
I've never got into it.
I'm sorry.
Unpopular opinion. Never got into it.
I'm gonna jump into some video game news.
Yay!
Here.
Wait.
All right.
Yeah. Transition sounds are cool.
I'm going to throw you off a little bit here because I just saw on Facebook a few minutes ago, not a few minutes ago, probably about an hour ago, that there's official release date for God of War.
Yeah, no, I saw that.
Yeah.
That was in the trailer I shared in the group.
April 20th this year. So
isn't that's actually around the 1-year anniversary
of the trailer? Our 1 year. I was like, their trailer? Yeah. No, yeah, it's roughly our 1 year anniversary. I don't know why that matters, but yeah.
Maybe I'll stream it.
Oh.
And it's 15 days after my birthday.
That's exciting. Let's see. Next up on the video game, Spider-Man PS4 game could release autumn of 2018, according to a Swedish retailer.
Yay.
I guess
did you see that they're going to actually release that game with the VR capability?
I did not see that.
So when you're web slinging and flying, you're going to get motion sickness because you're web slinging and flying. I think this game will be a true test for VR, though.
Look,
if VR is going to be successful, it's going to be successful with Spider-Man.
It's not going to be successful. I don't know why people keep thinking VR.
I don't like VR. Like, if we're going to get VR, I want, like, the whole, the things where you get Velcroed in and it's like a treadmill and you're running. If you get shot, you feel it. I want something like that. We're not going to
get that with VR. VR is not the future of gaming. See, the reason why gaming is going that direction right now is because it's technology that they're able to embrace and they're not pushing forward like they should. They should be pushing forward. Augmented reality is where gaming is going. That is so much more in-depth and intense than VR, because then you can use an entire room in AR.
Well, that's what I think we should, that's where we should be at. I don't think it's cost effective yet, though.
It's not. I mean, if you take a look at the HoloLens that Microsoft has, I think HoloLens is like $2,000 or $3,000 or something to get, but you could buy it and play Minecraft and stuff like that with
nice.
it. But you can. It's just not cost effective at all.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. I think. Look, I'm not even really excited about this Spider-Man game because I just think it looks like a clone of the Arkham game or something like that. Like,
could you blame them though? Arkham caught fire.
You're right, but after the third or fourth one, it was kind of like, all right, enough's enough, you know.
Except when they brought in the Batmobile. Did you play Arkham Knight?
Yeah. But then there was talks about there's talks that they're going to be doing a Superman game like the Arkham game. And it's like, okay, I get it. The idea, the concept of that game works, but you got to do something different.
But not every superhero needs that.
And not every superhero needs that, but you need to expand, do something different. Like the only thing that I think could work for Spider-Man is how open the world is. If you can go through the entirety of New York City, open world.
Yeah, and just do what you don't have to do a mission. You can just go around and just do whatever.
And save random, purse snatchers and stuff like that. Like I think that would be perfect. But if they're gonna keep it very linear, like Batman Arkham Knight was, or not Arkham Knight, the first couple Arkham games were very linear.
Asylum City and
Origins. Knight was a little more open, but they still had those aspects of this part of the city's closed off, this part of the city's closed off. Stop doing
especially
that shit.
with Asylum.
That reminds me of the old Grand Theft Auto games.
Oh yeah,
and that was so fucking annoying. It was just like, just give me the whole world. You don't need to give me my missions over there, but give me the whole world to play in.
Except with like cheat codes back in the day, cheat codes where you can just fly over it or something.
Yeah, or there was the one like if you hit the barrier at just the right point, you would go right through.
Vice City, when you would wheelie up with a motorcycle, and you would spawn right on the other side. I love that's my favorite GTA.
Vice City. I thought you said San Andreas was your favorite.
No. Unpopular opinion. I didn't really care for San Andreas.
Yeah, I didn't either.
That's the only GTA I've never beaten.
I liked Vice City the best because that's the first one to introduce motorcycles. So
This is showing me and my cousin Jeremy, who was on the show. We grew up playing 3. We were probably like 5 or 6 shooting hookers in the head.
Nice.
And we grew up with 3, and then because up until recently, I just used to play GTA. Oh, man, I got time to kill. Let's play some 80s music and just run people over. And then I went back and with 4 was the first one I beat story-wise. Then I went back and was like, okay, I beat 4 and because there was an achievement. I was like, yeah, achievements, because I had a hard-on for this. And then I went back, I played 3. I was like, oh, shit, good story. And then I played Vice City, and I was like, hands down, greatest game ever. Then San Andreas. Every copy of San Andreas I've ever bought was bugged.
Yeah.
Every cop. Have you played it?
Yeah.
So, the mission where you save that girl from the building you catch on fire?
I mean, I really don't remember the missions, but I have played it.
There's the Mexican gang, I can't think of what they're called. But you go to their drug house and you catch it on fire. Like, you throw Molotovs through the windows. Yeah. And there's a girl in there that's from Grove Street. And you go in and rescue her and you take her home. So when I took her home, the cutscene was for her to get out of the car and walk into her house. Mm-hmm. Or you would, walk her to her house or whatever. But in the cutscene, she would just run off. And then I would be stuck in the cutscene. So it took me 45 minutes of barricading cars around it. Yeah. And I eventually just cut the cutscene. And then it happened again with you had to race a trailer truck to a thing, and then, the dude would just run off the cutscene. I've never beat San Andreas.
Jeez. I would play a lot more of 5 if it didn't take so fucking long to load the damn game.
Yeah.
The loading time for 5 is atrocious. Now, I never play the storyline in that game.
The story is really good.
Really? I've never gotten into it. But
the heist, you can do it 5 separate ways.
But they give you options. The online multiplayer, the open world, that kind of shit, I love doing that. It's just fun driving around and, finding some random fucker and killing him, and then you guys fight each other for the next 3 hours, It's just fun.
The only downside to that is now that, they have certain missions that you have to be in a public game. Yeah. So if you're trying to do the mission in multiplayer, people are just fucking killing you. You can't do it. My only beef, I love 5 just for the sheer fact that the amount of collectibles. Mm-hmm. You heard about the ghost on the rock in that game? No. There's I forget what it's called, but it's about the killing of one of the famous actors in the 50s in California. I can't remember. But Black Delilah murder. Oh, okay. It's based on that. So you go around, you find 50 clippings of papers.
That's Black Dahlia. But
Black Dahlia, whatever. You know what I meant. But you find the clippings of papers. You find 50 of them, and then you go to this rock at 2 a.m. Now, quote me if I'm wrong. I don't think you have to do it, but you can go to the rock. It gives the rock meaning. If you go there between midnight and 2 on a rainy day, her ghost shows up and just stares at you.
Oh, really?
And if you get too close, it disappears.
That's cool.
And then there's spaceship parts for the UFO conspiracy.
I've seen that stuff.
Then you have the toxic.
Is there something in the ocean?
There's a UFO. If you get 100% completion, a UFO is over Mount Chiliad.
Oh, really?
Every midnight, yeah. Then there's you get a submarine in the game. Mm-hmm. You can get toxic barrels. You get peyote cactus, and you can be an animal for a little bit until you die. And then, if you get them all, you can become Bigfoot.
I mean, they've done some really cool things with that
like
game.
5 has been
Like I said, the
miles.
biggest thing is they just need to get rid of that. Find a way to cut back on that loading time, because that's just horrible. But, here I am sitting here complaining about something, like the Arkham games where it's like they didn't give you the entire map.
Yeah.
That's why the loading times are so bad, because the map is huge and it has to load all that information. But I just wish there was a way. And I think a lot of that would benefit going into the future, like I've been saying for so long with video gaming, is going in and starting to utilize the cloud. If you utilize the cloud properly, you can cut load times drastically.
Could you imagine if it didn't pre-download onto the Xbox, those load times?
Yeah.
I would be like, that's a broken game. I can't even. Actually, no. I remember because I pre-ordered it for the 360 when it first came out, my senior year of high school. Yeah.
You're young.
My friend, we played that game. We picked it up the same day.
Mm-hmm.
We went to his house and played that game. I just stayed there. We played it all night. Went to school. Went back to his house and played it. We beat that game in 2 days, but it was just so fun.
Mm-hmm.
But the load time, we were like, we can't even turn off our Xboxes. It's too long.
Yeah,
it took 15 minutes to load. Legitimately,
it's ridiculous.
Anyway, we should do a GTA episode one day.
I know Alex. He's a big guy. He was big into GTA and GTA 5. He and I would play all the time, and we just the shenanigans. You know,
because GTA is a game where you could just fuck around and you could do your own entertainment.
You just have fun. Exactly. And we would get bored entertaining ourselves, so we go do a couple heists or go do a couple missions, and then we go fuck around again. Like I started a motorcycle club on there, so it was like we were running around as a motorcycle gang. It's just fucking fun. Like it's just good times.
See, when you get bored in GTA. Excuse me. You just follow the rules. You stop at stoplights.
Yeah,
let
exactly.
pedestrians pass. Go to the speed limit, and then you say "fucking" and blow up
what
traffic.
I would love? What I've always wanted them to add into the GTA games is pickpocketing. Like I always thought that would be so badass. Like add like a little like Assassin's Creed-ness to the games. Where you can like sneak up behind people and pickpocket.
That would be fun.
Like imagine going up to like a cop and pickpocketing, and it gives you the choice to take their gun, take their like the stuff.
Kind of like
them.
Skyrim, like how it has the menu options.
Like that would be cool, wouldn't it? Like
I would get behind that.
Yeah,
because especially with like they introduce like the special abilities, like Trevor can go into like rage mode, and he's like not invincible, but he takes less damage. Franklin can slow down when he's driving, and Michael,
I didn't play
the white guy.
I didn't play this story, so
the other white guy that's not the redneck, he can sneak around.
Okay,
so that would be cool to see that. Did you get eaten by a shark on that game yet?
No,
you can get eaten by a shark.
Really?
It's an achievement. You have to like drive. You have to boat out into the ocean.
Yeah. Like
really like off the map ocean.
Oh, okay.
And then just swim back, and a shark will eventually come get you.
You know how long that would fucking take to swim back?
You want to hear some shit? It took me 3 tries.
Really?
I would swim for 10 minutes. No shark. I'm like, you God. But what's funny is like if you're in a submarine or a boat and you hit that shark, the shark dies and you can see it floating.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right, I think we're good with video games. Music.
You said, I don't have a topic. We just talked about GTA for 20 minutes.
Music. After nearly 40 years, Slayer is calling it quits after their upcoming farewell tour. Are you a big Slayer fan?
Back in the day.
See, I've never been a Slayer fan. I know, like, my one buddy Ryan, he was huge into Slayer. Whenever we tried to put together a band in my garage, he'd always come in with a Slayer t-shirt, fucking thrash on his guitar, and I'm sitting there like, all right, man,
you're playing like...
I'm like, can we play some Megadeth? That's a little easier for me to play.
Playing Slayer, and you're over here drumming. Next topic, Elton John.
Elton John, yeah.
We got 2 farewell tours.
Another farewell tour. I mean, I'm kind of upset. Now, this farewell tour is going to be like a 3-year tour or something, 2 years or something like that. But
and who knows, he might not even retire by the end of it.
But he is coming to Pittsburgh, and I know tickets are probably going to be like $300 a piece. Yeah. But he's on my bucket list to see, so I'm going to do everything I can to get a ticket to go see him. So definitely gonna go see his farewell tour. Like Slayer, I'm not too worried about.
Actually, my one friend, long story, medium sized. He sent me a friend request on Facebook. One of my friends in high school, and his name's Rodney, but I guess his old Facebook account got hacked. Mm-hmm. So he had 2 middle names, Adam Michael. So I was like, and I messaged his other account. I was like, some dude with your profile picture. Adam Michaels sent me a friend request. He never answered me. So that was like 3 years ago. So I finally put 2 and 2 together. I was like, I'm fucking dumb. And we were bullshitting. He wants to go. He said he's willing for me to like pay for 3 tickets for me to go see Slayer.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, fucking hey, dude, I'll go see Slayer with you.
Sticking with some heavy metalness here, we're going to do a news segment because everybody seems to like our music topics, I guess.
Except for YouTube.
But we're going to start doing a song of the week where each week somebody here is going to pick a song to talk about. And we're going to try and stay off of the mainstream because everybody knows I like Incubus and Foo Fighters. Everybody knows you like The Killers and, you know, and...
The man, man. It's about being the man.
So we're going to kind of go off the beaten path a little bit here and talk about bands and groups and songs that you may not have heard before. You may have. You may know exactly what we're talking about, but, you know, the mainstream doesn't really know these songs. And that's kind of the idea behind it. And then if we have guests, you know, from time to time, we're going to let them pick a song, and it could be whatever for them. We're not going to make them do too much research, but, you know, they could pick a song that they really like and talk about for that week. So this first week's song of the week is going to come from me, and it's a song that I recently heard, and we talked about it a little bit the past few music episodes, but it's a song that I heard this past summer, and I was holy shit.
Yeah, no, we were doing... I remember the day you showed me this.
I was like, holy shit, this song is fucking badass, because it's just like heavy, it's hardcore, it's just in your face, and I never even heard of this band before. But here's the song here. I'm going to hit play maybe. Here we go. It's kind of loud, it sounds like. There we go. And the song is Sparta by the band Sabaton. Now, Sabaton's album, The Last Stand, which released in 2016, is their 8th studio album. It's filled with songs focusing on some of the greatest last stands in the history of the world. Battles like Battle of Hill 3234, which is the song called Hill 3234. It was a battle between Soviet airborne troops and Afghan militants in 1988. It lasted less than 18 hours, but the Soviets had only 39 men to the Afghans' 200 to 250. Soviets came out victorious after the Afghans suffered severe casualties. There was a movie called The Ninth Company, which dramatized this. There was another battle called Battle of the Knockburn. The song is called Blood of the Knockburn. On June 24, 1314, there was a significant Scottish victory in the First War of Scottish Independence, landmark in Scottish history. And then this song here called Sparta, just listen to it. I mean, if you don't know, it's the Battle of Thermopylae, dramatized in the film 300, essentially. It's about the Spartans,
Makes sense.
But, I mean, this song, well, it's the first song that I did hear of theirs. Joachim Broden's voice is the singer. I just think it's absolutely amazing. A fanatical, tonally, it's just excellent. And it's great because he's telling the stories of the Spartans, and it's just, you've got this marchy feel to it. And that's kind of what Sabaton does. It's a very military, marchy feel to their music, which I really like. And then the music is heavy, it's commanding, and I just think it's a fun, great song. It's just get you pumped up and just get you ready for battle or an airsoft match or something, But yes, that's Sabaton Sparta. So check that out on Spotify or YouTube or wherever you can.
Yeah, no, it's tits.
Yeah.
Now, while we're on music, I was at work yesterday, and this song kept me at work for an extra 5 minutes because you don't walk out on that song. They played Crazy Train up at work.
Really?
Crazy Train was playing up at work.
That's kind of weird.
I was like, I can't leave. I don't know if I'm ever going to hear this song ever again here. I've been here 4 years, and I've never heard this.
They have recently changed how they do music, so it does actually change more frequently than it did before. Because before, they had the same, 25 songs.
Yeah, and I was like...
For 3.5 years.
Just bashing my head against the wall.
Oh my god, that sucks.
Ooh, ee, ooh, ah, ah, ting, tang, walla, walla, bang, bang.
Yeah, that was on probably 6 times a day.
Yeah, that song's about rape, right? It really is. Listen to the lyrics. It's not an innocent song of parents.
I mean, no kids are allowed in the establishment
I
anyway.
could tell you,
so.
I've heard that song, on 14 separate occasions growing up.
Okay. All right, well, we're going to jump to TV now. Not much TV.
Wait.
You and your jumping. There's not much TV news, but the big news that did come out was about Gotham. Hey, do you got ham?
Yes.
Yeah, Gotham. Gotham is set to return on March 1st. David
so confused.
David Mazouz, or Mazals, or however you say his name, the guy who plays Bruce Wayne in the show.
Maz Kanata.
Actually, starts talking about what this second half of this season is going to bring. They're going to basically terrorize the city when he talks about the villains on the next 11 episodes. All of the good guys are going to have a part in taking them down because there are just so many of them. Of course, it's spearheaded by the man that posted it himself, Jerome. Everybody is involved somehow in the massive fight against the band of villains. It's so cool. I loved every single time I got a script these past couple of months. It's so cool. The idea of everybody teaming up like that. So, I've loved what they've done with Gotham this past season. It's absolutely, in my opinion, the best season of Gotham. And the fact that Jerome is coming back is exciting. Another thing he did talk about, I don't know if it was this past week or the same week or around the same time, but he talked about how that the Joker is coming to Gotham this year. He says Joker will be in Gotham, which is exciting. However, he's teasing and saying that it will not be Jerome. And Jerome has been the guy that has been the Joker character since he's been there. Like every little thing that he does, he's got the smile. He's actually, they've adapted certain Joker storylines for Jerome, so everybody's thinking Jerome's Joker. So if he's just teasing and saying, "Oh, it's not going to be him," but it is actually him, like if it's a misdirect, cool. But if they don't make it Jerome, I think a lot of people are going to be pissed off unless it's something absolutely crazy and
like
good.
Off the wall.
Yeah. So because the guy who plays Jerome, he's perfect. Like, to me, like, he's Joker. And when you talk about live action Jokers, he's up there number 1, number 2. Like,
really?
Again, I loved what Heath Ledger did, but to me, that was never the real Joker that you got in the comics. It's an adaptation of Joker, which I accept, and I like him. I love the way he portrayed it. It was perfect.
But
for that.
You're looking for the closest to the comics.
Closest to the comics, yeah. Dude who plays Jerome in Gotham is hands down possibly the best. I want to see more of Jared Leto before I give my final stamp of approval, because I think Jared Leto has the potential of being just as good. We didn't see enough of him.
Yeah, all 15 seconds of it.
Yeah. So absolutely love it. Arrowverse this week was pretty cool.
How cool was it?
Ice cold. But you guys will laugh later at that.
Yeah, post production, you'll laugh at that.
But it's they're at the point in their seasons where it's just kind of like, this is what's going on. The only interesting thing was with the Flash, the Mystery Girl's back, and I've talked about the Mystery Girl in the past, where she showed up at Barry and Iris's wedding, all giddy, talking to Barry, like ha ha ha, and she was like a cocktail waitress there. And then she showed up at the tail end of this past week's episode, and she was talking to Cisco, and it was very, very interesting because for a while people have been speculating, is this Mystery Girl from the future? Is she Barry and Iris's daughter? Because she kind of has, the skin tone is, like a mixed tone and stuff like that. But now people are thinking, after this past episode, that she could be actually Cisco and Gypsy's daughter, because, again, the skin tone matches, plus she's wearing, like, the weird nerdy t-shirts like Cisco wears. Yeah. But I think, they're doing a good job on the who could this be. Like, they've done every single year, The Flash does, who is this person? Try and figure it out. And they've done it a different way, because every year it's been the villain. Who's the villain? Who's the villain? Who's the villain? This year they're like, well, here's the villain, but who's this person?
You never know. So, maybe she's the next season's villain.
Possibly. I just think it's interesting. I mean, I know you don't watch The Flash, but the beginning of this season, Barry comes out of the Speed Force, and he's like writing all weird, weird symbols and talking in a weird way.
Because his brain's mush.
Basically, his brain was all screwed up from being in the Speed Force.
I've read the comics. I have a faint idea of it.
But you have this girl, this Mystery Girl, is writing the same kind of symbols in her diary or in this book that she's writing. So that's why I lean more towards her being related to Barry and Iris more than being, Cisco's daughter or something like that. I'm not going to say I'd hate it if they went that route. Actually, I probably would prefer it because then you're getting a little bit away from the main characters and like bringing more importance to the side characters. But I don't know. I mean, this is one that I'm intrigued and interested to see who she is. Not as much as I've been in the past with like who's Reverse Flash or who's Zoom, but you know, I'm intrigued. I'm interested. I just think that they've done such a good.
They got your attention.
I think they've done such a good job with the villain this year, though, that's all I really care about is what they're doing with the villain in this season, because I think this is the best villain we've had since season 1. So, I mean, that's with the Flash. But Arrow's been interesting. Caden James is the villain. Finally, we know for sure he is the true number 1 villain, even though the first half of the season we didn't know or could even tell who was the real main big bad. Like, we couldn't, like, you didn't know.
It was
the past 2 episodes, it's pretty much revealed it's Caden James. He's the big bad. That's fine. Honestly, though, I mean, Arrow's to me is starting to get a little stale. It's a good season. Last season was phenomenal. This season's been pretty decent, but you're starting to notice that everything is more of the same.
Yeah.
You know,
they're getting
gotta
the Walking Dead thing.
Hide your identity, you know, this and that. So
there's only so many times you can hide your identity.
Exactly. So you know you got that going on, which is a bit ridiculous. Black Lightning was good again this week. You're really starting to see him, you know, take on the role of Black Lightning a little bit more. He's becoming, you know, he's accepting that he has to be back as Black Lightning, and that's exciting because, you know, he gave it up for 9 years. Starting to see that his daughter, the one who showed the strength, who we're guessing is going to be Thunder, she's, you know, starting to question, like, I don't know what's going on with me. And then in this episode, she realizes, like, okay, when I get angry, I get this strength and I'm able to do stuff. So, you know, you figured that out.
At least it wasn't the talk.
Yeah. All right.
That awkward silence.
Supergirl. What the hell happened on Supergirl this week? I can't even remember. What happened to Supergirl this week?
What happened on Supergirl this week?
All
this and more on next time on the Remote Control.
I don't know. There's some things that happened with Supergirl. She was super. She did some super things.
She was a super, and she was a girl, and she had a cape.
I for real cannot remember what happened with Supergirl last week.
She totally did some things with some stuff, and then boom,
I've
the
been
dynamite.
good. This is the first episode where I haven't written down the stuff for what happened in the Arrowverse and forgot something. Like, I'm usually really good at remembering stuff.
Way to go, Bob.
Yeah. Actually, it started last week when I couldn't remember Caden James' name from Arrow. What the hell happened? You are all probably yelling at me here.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make fun of you guys. All 17 of you, please stay.
Oh, it's the okay. Now I remember. It's the episode where they go to that like prison that's like floating out in space somewhere.
Oh, space prison.
Yeah, it's like a space prison, and Supergirl has to hunt down some like priestess or something. I don't
space
know.
criminal.
Space priestess. Rain comes, they fight, blah, blah, blah. Rain's starting to realize, possibly the chick who plays Rain is starting to realize what's going on. Not really sure why she's losing time and not being where she needs to be, blah, 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 that kind of stuff. That's all. There wasn't that big of a deal.
Same.
Yeah. So, Dragon Ball Super, did you watch it this week, buddy?
Yes, I did. How about Toppo, my guy?
Is he a god of destruction?
Yes.
He is.
It's confirmed canon. He's a god of destruction.
But who's that sitting up in the stands then from his universe?
That's guess what? They're probably rewriting Super for the 15th time. That's my only guess. Like he has literally accepted the role of God of Destruction.
Yeah, I mean that's.
But like, there's still the other God of Destruction up there.
I know. That's
like it's rewriting Super.
Or is it that he just gained the abilities of God of Destruction? He's not technically the God of Destruction yet.
Probably that.
You know, I mean, maybe
he got the abilities, but they don't know if his universe is going to survive. So they're like, "We'll let this one go.
We'll let it go for right now. This is exciting."
How about Frieza getting his ass kicked?
Oh, that was that. I saw that coming.
I definitely saw it coming, but I didn't think he was. I thought like he was dead.
I mean, it humbles him slightly, but does Frieza ever really get humbled?
Nah,
so
Frieza's just gonna lay down for a little bit.
I honestly thought that he was gonna hit another fucking level. Like I was like, is this gonna be the season where everybody just gets a new fucking level? You know?
Did they ever explain what Vegeta turned into?
No, but you can actually absolutely tell now that it's a completely different.
Yeah, it's two different colors
because the hair's different. It's a completely different form than
not,
Ultra Instinct or even Super Saiyan God. Like
it might be like. Since Goku's is defensive Ultra Instinct, maybe his is offensive Ultra Instinct.
That's what people keep thinking, but
we don't. You don't know yet.
We haven't seen enough of that fight yet, because it's like the past 2 episodes have been like, here's what's going on with Gohan in 17, here's what's going on with Frieza in 17, you know.
Yeah,
like, that's what they've done.
Which is good, because like,
and now we're going to see, though, this next episode is going to be Vegeta against Toppo. So I guess Vegeta is like, hey, you got this, Goku, I'm going to go over there and help.
17, pick Frieza up, and I don't know,
do something to help that dude.
he might be dead.
Yeah, well, I mean, we know he's not dead, and we know that he's not eliminated, so he's just laying on the
he's laying on the edge of the
stadium there.
Yeah,
but no, it was definitely an interesting episode.
I like what they did there. I do honestly think if Vegeta gets eliminated, that Super's going to end with Universe 7 being eliminated. I think that's how. I kind of wanted this to end like that.
This is why I think that they announced that Super is ending, because I think they wanted people to start thinking like it's a real possibility that they're actually going to destroy Universe 7.
Yeah,
and I think that's what they want people thinking. Like,
but in reality, they're taking like a year off to make the movie, and then they're coming back with Super Part 2 or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean that's a possibility. So.
But I mean, I don't know. I honestly would say that's a really good ending. It'd be a sad ending, but like. Destroy Universe 7. Let it be the end all of Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Like, then go back and, do something like GT in an alternate universe. Or technically saying there's 17 timelines from Future Trunk. Just fucking follow one of those.
Yeah, go to one of those timelines. Yeah, anything else happened with Super? Nothing really happened with Super besides that.
Surprisingly, Jiren's not like a god of destruction or anything. He's just super OP.
Yeah, he's just really
like we got that.
Yeah, because he was even like, what?
Yeah, he was like, oh shit, so you accept?
Yeah, that was another thing. Like, has it been something that Toppo was offered in the past to be a god of destruction, and has he not taken it?
Yeah.
So Jiren's like, so you've accepted, the offer, whatever you said, but like, is it something that like there was a whole plan from the beginning, and then is that like, I know that they're not going to disqualify anybody for anything like that, but how fair is that?
Yeah, right.
Like,
they'll literally put a god in the field.
Exactly. Like,
but then it goes to show like 17's kind of holding his own.
Which is really bizarre to me, because like if you were to ask me, like if you were to say,
the power level should be.
If you're gonna look at the power levels of all these characters prior to this tournament, so here's Universe 7. Yeah. Where do you think 17 would sit? I'd be like near the bottom.
Yeah, like maybe mid tier at best.
I would say he would be around Krillin.
Yeah,
like not much higher than Krillin.
Yeah, like him and 18 should be.
It should be like Krillin, 18, 17.
Yeah.
Like really.
Because 17 and 18 have unlimited stamina, or unlimited...
which helps, but they only have so much power they can use, like ability-wise.
They're just flicking Toppo at this point.
Exactly. Like, it's like, we're only this strong. We can do this forever, but it's not going to do much.
We're only going to annoy you.
Yeah.
Which, I've read that he's just probably buying time. They have 5 minutes. Like,
that's what he said that at one point. At one point,
all I have to do is run.
Yeah, he's like, I got 6 minutes, all I need to do is this. So.
Which surprises me that he's the only one that thought of that.
Well, I mean, you think Vegeta and Goku, they're so dead set on, they want to defeat Jiren to prove that they're strong enough to defeat Jiren.
Yeah, and then there's Frieza.
Frieza is going to be Frieza. Like, he's just going to be like, if I have to jump in, I'll jump in, and I'll prove my strength when I have to. But if I don't, I'll just stand here. Like that's kind of how he's been the whole.
But like,
whole time.
I would figure that like, oh hey, Krillin and Tien, oh we're fucking humans among gods here. Let's not fight. And then they go and get into a fight. Who the fuck could that be? Yeah.
Hi, sir. I'm here to deliver your package from teespring.com. It seems as though you ordered one of those Superfly the remote control t-shirts.
Yeah, fuck yeah, I did. It's today's hottest style, my guy. You should really get one yourself.
Shit, son, that's fresh as hell. Where can I get myself one of those ice-cold shirts, man?
Get your phone out, my guy. Go to www.teespring.com/the remote control CNTRL to order one of those just for $14.99 today.
You best know I am.
Shit right, son?
On to movies.
Yay.
Mission Impossible now has a title. The next Mission Impossible movie will be called Mission Impossible Fallout.
Just Fallout or not the Fallout?
It's Mission Impossible Fallout.
Yeah.
So
Should have put the in there. It would sound better.
we got a cool we got a cool picture of Henry Cavill from Mission Impossible with his
wicked sweet mustache.
with his sweet ass mustache that he couldn't remove for Justice League. But yeah, I think we're gonna get a trailer for Mission Impossible on the Super Bowl. Actually, I think we're gonna get a shit ton of trailers at the Super Bowl. I think we're gonna get a new Black Panther. I think we're gonna get Mission Impossible. We're gonna get Ant-Man. We're gonna get Avengers. I would not be surprised if they gave us some kind of teaser for Aquaman. I also think
teaser for Star Wars.
I do not believe we're going to get a Solo trailer at the Super Bowl. I think it'll come before the Super Bowl. I think it'll be within this week. I've been saying that for a while. Even though last week there was the rumor that it was going to come out last Wednesday,
and it didn't.
It didn't. I think it's going to be this week.
Around
I think
here.
we're going to get it. Yeah, I think it's going to be before the Super Bowl because Avengers: Infinity War is the one that they're banking on making a shit ton of money. I think they understand that they're going to make money on Solo, but not as much as Infinity War.
Yeah, no, Infinity War is
so
just hype.
why spend $2 million to put Solo on the Super Bowl when
you can put Infinity
you can
War
put
on
Infinity War there and
you'll make more money.
you're going to make more money back from it. So, and more talk, more hype.
Yeah.
You don't want to. Here's the thing, Solo. If it's done well, if they do a good trailer with it and everything like that, you want people to talk about it. So release it now. Release it this week. So they have 3 or 4 days to talk about it, and then once Infinity War trailer is shown, then people are going to have 2 or 3 weeks to talk about it until Black Panther comes out and they see the trailer again. And after Black Panther, they're just going to be on a Marvel high at that time. And I think that's the smart move for Disney as a whole, as a company.
Yeah.
You know, I know Lucasfilm, Marvel, Disney, it's all different companies technically, but it's the smart move money wise.
For business.
In business, exactly. So. Again, I'm not normally wrong when it comes to my trailer predictions. You can ask this kid sitting right in front of me here. I'm actually pretty good at predicting trailers.
He's like shooting 75%.
So, yeah, just want to say, this week is my prediction. Jumanji has been finally knocked off.
Speaking of Jumanji.
Has been finally knocked off the #1 spot thanks to the new Maze Runner finale film. So, it's finally not #1 after being there for like 6 weeks.
I want to see the Maze Runner.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the books.
I
I
never
read
saw
the
any of
books.
them,
I
so-
read the books.
Was that 4 or 5 movies? I've never seen them. Speaking of Jumanji,
There we go.
and
Speaking
as
of
I
Jumanji.
said last week, a sequel is in the works and targeting a
Ugh.
December 2019 release.
But,
Remember
like-
last week I was like, they're going to make a sequel. You're like, I don't know, man. The way it ended.
Yeah, like you can't make a sequel the way it ended, though. Like you're gonna have to pull something out of your
And
ass.
it seems like the Rock's going to be in it again because I think he's the one that was talking about it. So
I would, if it would be okay if him and Kevin, those two played off to each other wonderfully in the movie.
you know what I watched? What did I watch the other day? The Kevin Hart, Will Ferrell movie. Get Hard.
Yeah, Get Hard.
Horrible. I did not laugh one time.
Because it was awful. That movie
Here's
was
the thing.
so bad.
Will Ferrell can be funny from time to time. I love the first Anchorman. Absolutely. I think it's his best movie. Absolutely phenomenal movie.
All
hilarious.
of his SNL stuff.
SNL stuff is great. Elf, hilarious movie. And yeah, he's done some other movies that have been bad. Mostly the ones that are bad are sequels or ones that focus too much on family friendliness, with the exception of Elf. But Elf had the benefit of having Jon Favreau directing, which I think really helped. But what is it? Kicking and Screaming was horrible.
Yeah.
Step Brothers was good also.
Yeah.
I hate Talladega Nights. I'm one of the few that absolutely hates Talladega Nights.
It doesn't stand the test of time.
But I was like, and the only reason why I watched, because I hate Kevin Hart. He's the reason I think the movie was so bad is because of Kevin Hart. I don't think he's funny. There's never been a moment where I've watched anything that he was in where I've actually laughed. Ever.
That's because he's not funny.
He isn't.
Like I don't like him.
I don't get it. I don't think he's that funny. I'm sorry. I just don't.
It's just him and The Rock.
They play too much of him being short, and they play too much of that kind of stuff. It's the obvious shit that they play with him, and it's just not funny.
It's like we just start talking about how he's not funny.
Yeah. But yeah, so Jumanji is going to have a sequel coming out probably December 2019, which is going to be in competition with Star Wars Episode 9.
Too bad. Too bad that's going to get blown out of the fucking water.
Who? You think Jumanji will?
Yeah.
It didn't get blown out from episode 8.
Okay. Now, think about everything with episode 8, though. After, like, the Rotten Tomatoes bullshit, all the fans, because they can't accept change.
You think that the fans are going to go see 9 now because of how bad they felt about 8?
Yeah.
You think it'll make the same amount of money or more?
Probably.
Okay.
It's a Star Wars movie.
That'll be for a Star Wars talk down the line. It looks like Ready Player One now has an official release date of March 29th. It was previously March 30th. Woohoo! 1 day earlier. I know somebody who's going to be excited about that is Deej Penhalla from Nerdtalkalypse podcast. I know he's going to be pumped about it, so definitely.
One whole day.
One whole day. He'll eat it up, though. Hopefully over the next week or so, I'm going to get a chance to get the book finally and
well, what we have in the works, you may be able to listen to.
Hopefully. Netflix is supposedly in talks to acquire the third Cloverfield film before it releases in theaters this April. So if that happens, it could get pushed back further again. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. Like if Netflix was like, here's $5 million, give me the movie. And then they're going to be like, yeah, we'll hold off and releasing it until now. So why are you looking all strange and weirdly like?
I don't know. My brain's trying to make a sentence here, but it's
Rob Zombie's Devil's Rejects sequel to shoot this spring.
I'm happy they're making a sequel.
I liked Devil's Rejects better than House of a Thousand Corpses, but
Corpse Eye.
No. Well, yeah, although I didn't really like Devil's Rejects all that much, so
you have to have a thing for like indie horror films for Rob Zombie.
I loved his first Halloween movie. I absolutely
because it's not indie horror.
I absolutely love that movie.
That's a good movie.
I think I believe it's better than the original. Like personally, to me, it's better than the original.
Did you see? While we're talking about Halloween, is it Halloween that what's her face is coming back?
Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis. Yeah, because they're
that's set to come out this year, isn't it?
They're continuing the original's storyline. So
only 30, 40 years.
Well,
later.
the last one they did wasn't Halloween H2O the last one they did, which was back in 1999 or 2000 or something like that. So or 98 something like
H2O.
that. That's what it was called, Halloween H2O, because it was 20 years after the original. So it was 97 then. That's when it came out. 97.
Just drowning, just water, just 2 hours of just water, and a mask floating in the water. That's Halloween H2O. We don't even have to do Marvel this week. I just did a movie.
Ryan Reynolds is reteaming with the writers of Deadpool to adapt Clue. Have you ever seen the original Clue?
No, but isn't it based on the board game?
Yes, but you need to watch the original movie, the original Clue movie.
Is it good?
It's one of my favorite like offbeat comedies of all time.
Oh, it's a comedy film.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It's amazing, dude. It's one of those movies. It's just a good time. You sit there, have a good time. It's a murder mystery, so it just gets your brain thinking.
And then it's a comedy on top of it.
It's a comedy on top of it.
That's beautiful.
So that's why I'm okay with Ryan Reynolds reteaming with the writers of Deadpool 2 or Deadpool to do this.
2.
One of them, Deadpool or Deadpool 2, whatever one. But yeah, I'm excited about it because I think it's a good time to do it, and it's also one of those brands that you can make multiple movies with this at different times, and it's not necessarily a remake. It's just it could be a good time.
It's just sitting down and playing the game again.
Well, they don't sit down and play the game.
Well, you know what I mean. Like it's basically what it is.
Exactly. So I'm actually really looking forward to this. I know a lot of people are like, "This is stuff that we don't need. We don't need anything like this. This is ridiculous. I'm sick of remakes." And
those are the people that are Marvel fans. Come at me.
Dude, I got into.
You are the people that like Pitch Perfect, and you are the people that like Heaven Heart, and you're the people that complained about Star Wars Episode 8. Come at me.
Wow, dude. I had a
leave me hate in the comments.
I had a we'll call it a discussion in the Marvel Cinematic Universe group on Facebook yesterday.
We'll call it discussion at best.
At best, it was a discussion. Okay, so somebody brought up the thing on Thor Ragnarok, because I guess there's a big debate going on right now. Like, how is Thor affected by that thing that they shot on his neck? If he's the god of thunder, why is an electrical device hurting him? So I jumped in, and I was because some guy was like, this was his explanation. He was like, how do we know it's an electrical device? How do we know this? How do we know that? Blah, 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 blah. Like, he's going on and on. And my simple response was this. If you have to dig outside of the movie to figure out what it is, then it's poor writing. Okay? Mm-hmm. So if and he's like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, look, the writers obviously thought that the viewers were smart enough to know that whenever he's shaking on the ground like he's being electrocuted, that it's an electrical device. Otherwise, they would have given us a reason to do, or given us a reason in the movie of what it actually was besides that.
They would have explained it.
So if you have to sit here and now dig and figure out why it's not an electrical device, that's called poor writing. Because yes, it doesn't make any sense why the god of thunder, who controls electricity, is
being electrocuted.
It's being electrocuted. That doesn't make any sense. So, it's poor writing. So they started freaking out at me, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, you just hate the movie. I was like, no, actually, I enjoyed Thor Ragnarok. I thought it was a good movie. I'm not going to sit here and say it's the worst movie in Marvel. No, that title belongs to Civil War. And then it started. Because you say that if you disagree with a Marvel fan, especially with what everybody thinks is the best one, which is Civil War, people think it's the best. I don't know why. But it just starts the butt hurt. It just starts. And they start freaking out at me. Oh, what do you think is a good movie? I was like, first off, Civil War is a poorly written film. It is just poorly written. Yeah. Nobody wants to admit that, though.
Not from a fan standpoint, because we both write, and I make films. It is a poor film.
It's poorly written. It's not put together properly. There's things wrong with it. So explain to me how it's a poorly written film, and give me some films that you think are written great or whatever. And I was like, first off, let's just keep it to comic book movies, because you can compare it. It's better to compare.
Or anything like.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit here.
Insidious Inception. I mean,
I'm not going to sit here and say that Citizen Kane Citizen Kane is regarded as the greatest movie of all time. I'm not going to compare Civil War to that. No, I'm going to compare it to other comic book films that I think are written better. And in my opinion, I think Man of Steel is one of the best written comic book movies of all time.
I wouldn't have went DC. I would have stayed in Marvel.
I stayed away from it for a while. I didn't answer that question for a while because I knew if I went that route that people, you're just a DC fanboy, freaking out. So I went the route of, I was like, I think Winter Soldier's a great movie. I think Guardians of the Galaxy, the original one, is a great movie. I think those are good movies. So that's the route I went at first. So, I continue talking with them, and, I go, these are my reasons why I think it's poorly written. And they go, no, you're wrong, because it explains this, explains this. I was like, no, it doesn't explain this. No, it doesn't explain that. No, it doesn't explain that.
Not until, like, the third movie down the line.
Never does it explain any of this stuff. And, I'm sitting here saying, like, my biggest complaint has always been with this movie is Tony and Steve were never friends. Not in any single movie that we saw the two of them together. I don't care what you know about the comics. I don't care what you think happened between movies.
Yeah, because that's not canon.
As a fan of moviegoer, as you go and see those movies, at best they are work friends that tolerate each other.
Yeah.
Okay. They're employees that tolerate each other at best. All they ever are, they're at each other's throats constantly. Steve thinks that Tony is reckless. He thinks that he's a loose cannon. And Tony, he despises Steve. He resents Steve because of how his father, felt about Steve, and how his father wish Tony was Steve, like that's essentially how it was. And Tony has those parent issues, daddy issues, They were never friends. Never in any movie that they were ever together did you get the idea that they're friends. So the fact that this movie hinges on their friendship that isn't there, that is poor writing. That is just poor fucking writing, and nobody buys it. Everybody's like, you're wrong. No, they were friends. They're absolutely friends.
Because they're Marvel.
Show me a fucking Marvel movie where the two of them look like they're friends. Please. No.
Any of the Avenger films. I could tell you that's the exact counter argument.
Yes, because, so Age of Ultron, that's when Steve is freaking out at Tony about Tony being reckless and a loose cannon because of all of the shit that he builds and building Ultron. All right? The Avengers. Tony is against Steve. He keeps calling him, different, he makes fun of him in that movie, in the first Avengers movie. There's no friendship there. I could see maybe in the first Avengers where they're kind of like they're feeling each other out. But by the second Avengers movie, no, Steve does not like Tony. So you cannot sit there. And that was my biggest argument. People are like, no, you're wrong. And all they can say is, no, you're wrong. They were friends. Nobody can prove to me how they're friends. Yeah. I'm sorry, that's poor writing. That's poor writing whenever you have to try and
dig deep for it.
Dig deep for it. It's not a good movie. It's not written well. I also bring up the whole thing about the Zemo, on how his entire plan hinges on a VHS player and 3 characters showing up at that VHS player at the same time. Like he doesn't understand. People don't understand that battle between them at the end that truly breaks up the Avengers would not happen if there was no VHS player there. That would not happen if Steve and Bucky were the only ones that showed up there. Like, you know, like people don't understand that.
Yeah, like that's a whole,
and that's just poor writing. If you have, like, you know, that there was, they wrote to accommodate the movie. They were like, we got to make sure these people get here to accommodate the storyline. The storyline just doesn't flow. You know, again, people freak out. No, you heard Zemo's plot early in the movie, and it made perfect sense. Yes, his plot was to break up the Avengers. Yeah. That was his plot, but the execution was poorly written and created. So again, it is what it is. People can yell at me, come at me, whatever. But
we are getting hate in the comments for this one.
I'm sorry.
Hi, Jordan.
No, Jordan's not gonna hate us. Jordan likes it.
No, but I want to say hi. He always comments. Hi.
Honestly, I don't know. I've gone over this so many times, especially on this podcast. I don't understand why people always have
Can
to
we
freak
title this one the Marvel hate episode?
Then there was. And then eventually, you know, because they were like, what other movies do you like? And that's when I brought up Man of Steel. And they started like laying on me, oh, you got to be ridiculous. The writing in that is horrible, blah, 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 blah. And
then you realize that they're as shallow as a puddle.
Exactly. They because, again, they just dig. Because they not only do they dig to find why a movie is good, they dig to find why a movie is bad.
Yeah.
And it goes both ways. If you have to dig and find reasons why the movie is bad, then
you aren't intellectual.
You're not understanding the movie.
Yeah, you're not intellectual enough.
If you have to dig to find why a movie's good, then the writing is bad. You know, you could sit there and say, well, you had to dig for Civil War. No, the second time I watched that movie, I noticed those things. Mm. The first time I didn't, because I was like, ooh, bright colors, just like every other Marvel fan. Bright colors, fighting, woo.
Which is how you should walk into a Marvel film the first time.
When I walk into any movie, I go in just to enjoy myself, you know? So that's, you know, the second time I watched it, though, I was like, holy shit, this is really? That's the story? Like, what? You know, like, you start to pick up on those things. You know, the people that are sitting there trying to tell me the thing for Man of Steel, I'm sitting there like, no, the movie's good. Like, it's not a bad movie. It's a good movie. Okay, yes, there's a couple things that I agree with that, you know.
Every movie has that, though.
But every movie has it. I think, though, the reason why Man of Steel is so good, because it has the best villain story arc, the best introduction to a superhero on coming to terms with who they are, and it continues on through Batman vs. Superman and so on. But, you know...
But Iron Man.
Exactly.
Iron Man.
But Iron Man.
But that done there did Iron Man.
But what about the Winter Soldier? You know, like, that's what happens, and it's just so annoying.
We're just pissing Marvel people off right now. That done there did Iron Man. He done did build it in his suit.
Oh wow, we're not even in the comic book section of our episode yet.
Yeah,
but
we really went off there.
All right, so just whatever. I'm gonna get off that because it and here's the thing.
It's coming up here soon, so I'll be done did Iron Man did the suit.
One thing that makes me mad, because here's the thing. I do enjoy the Marvel films. I do like going and seeing
them.
I do
too. You know, everybody just gives us a bad rep for it.
Everybody does. But here's the thing. Like, people were like yelling at me. Oh, you see, like on this discussion last night, they're like, oh, you're just butthurt. You know, you need to calm down. I'm like, I'm calm. Like,
you're the one freaking.
You guys
you're Iron Man done did Captain America.
Exactly.
He done did Friends.
Like, honestly, like I pretty much have all of my arguments written already, so I just copy and paste them.
Yeah, you preemptively did that. You've seen some shit. You've been here, done.
So
that.
It's not like I get worked up. They're just like, why Civil War suck? Copy paste, and I walk away for 10 minutes. You know, I come back and I see all the hate, and I'm like, copy paste. I walk away for another 10 minutes.
You're like, good. Let the butt hate flow.
All right, so John Cena. John Cena. It looks like they're looking at him to be cast as Duke Nukem. I think is perfect. I look at him and I see Duke Nukem.
I could see it, but do you think they're going to keep his PG?
No, dude, they gotta go R with it. If they're doing Duke Nukem, they gotta go R.
But that's gonna harm his image.
And Duke Nukem is a perfect example. No, because his image, because he's doing that rated R comedy that's coming out in a couple months. But like, that is, when you talk about video game to movie adaptations.
Yeah, John Cena's the best person though.
No. Why haven't they done Duke Nukem yet? Because that is such an obvious one that could work. Basically, it's Rambo on steroids with aliens.
Did you ever play the video game?
Yes.
There is one thing. No, I meant like the one that just came out.
Oh no.
There's one thing I want them to take from it. You can literally take a shit and take the shit out of the toilet and throw it at a fucking alien.
I don't think you need that. But again,
I think you do.
It's essentially Rambo on steroids against aliens.
Yeah.
Like, why haven't they done that yet?
With tons of dick jokes.
Exactly. Like, this is...
Why haven't we written this yet? You are talking to probably the best dick joke maker in the world.
Should have been done a while ago. Oscar nominations, do we really care?
Not really.
Not really.
Oh, hey, no, I do. I'm going to say one thing. If you guys listened to last week's episode, The Frost by August Burns Red was nominated for an Oscar.
Not Oscar, Grammy.
Or Grammy, sorry. My bad.
Best Picture, I'm just going to go over these real quick. Call Me By Your Name, Darkest Hour, Dunkirk, Get Out, Lady Bird, Phantom Thread, The Post, The Shape of Water, Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. A few things I want to point out here. Get Out should not be in that mix at all. Get Out was an okay movie. At best, it was not that good, but it should not be there.
Still get to see it.
The movie that I think the two, maybe three movies that are really the true, like, competition is going to be Darkest Hour, Shape of Water, and Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. I haven't seen any three of those yet, but I will be seeing them before they come, or before the Oscars, because those three movies do look very, very interesting to me. Let's see, lead actor Timothy Chalamet, Daniel Day-Lewis, Daniel Kaluuya, Gary Oldman, and Denzel Washington.
You forgot to say Mark Hamill there.
Gary Oldman is going to win that one, hands down. After all I've seen and heard from Darkest Hour, it looks like he's going to win. Lead actress Sally Hawkins, Frances McDormand, Margot Robbie, Saoirse Ronan, and Meryl Streep. I guarantee Meryl Streep's going to win just because it's Meryl Streep. And director, I'm just going to jump to director. Christopher Nolan for Dunkirk, Jordan Peele for Get Out, again should not be there. Greta Gerwig, Lady Bird, Paul Thomas Anderson for Phantom Thread, and Guillermo del Toro for The Shape of Water. My guess is it will be Guillermo del Toro for Shape of Water because it's getting a lot of fucking talk around it right now. One thing that we were going to talk about later on in the episode, but I'm just going to bring it up now. Adapted screenplay actually has a very interesting movie in there, and it's actually made history. So for adapted screenplay, you got Call Me By Your Name, you got The Disaster Artist, which again I thought was pretty good. You have Molly's Game, and then you have Mudbound, and finally you have, for the first time ever in the history of the Oscars, you have a comic book movie for nominated for adapted screenplay with Logan. So,
no, I could see it.
So I really hope Logan wins. I don't think it's going to because of it being, but it's one step. One step at a time. We're going to start seeing more comic book movies, and I've also been thinking like, hey, they should absolutely just throw a comic book movie.
There's enough for at least a year. You can
exactly just do a whole fucking
or geek movie. Just throw like Star Trek, Star Wars. Just give us it all.
Yeah, something like that would be nice. Let's see, real quick here. Sound editing, Baby Driver, Blade Runner 2049, Dunkirk, Shape of Water, and The Last Jedi. The Last Jedi I don't think is going to win, even though I think it was really good. But what I think should fucking win for sound editing...
let me guess. Baby Driver.
Yes. Yeah, Baby Driver for sure. Sound mixing, again, pretty much all the same movies. Production design now. Original score, you got Dunkirk, which was Hans Zimmer. Phantom Thread by Johnny Greenwood. The Shape of Water, Alexandre Desplat. Star Wars The Last Jedi, John Williams, and Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, Carter Burwell. I really, really, really love The Last Jedi soundtrack here. I don't know if it's going to win, though, but I really, really like it. I haven't heard The Shape of Water, actually, I haven't heard Shape of Water, Phantom Thread, or Three Billboards. So it'll be interesting to see. But again, I really, really like John Williams. I guess that's about it. Yeah, I'm not going to go over anything else with that. But, again, I'm not a big awards kind of guy. Like, honestly, I go see the movies I want to see. I like the movies I like. After last year's snafu where Moonlight won, but they announced La La Land before Moonlighting and stuff like that.
Building up the hype.
It was a mess. La La Land should have won last year. We all know why Moonlight won, everything like that. But... it's just enough is enough. Like these award ceremonies anymore, if you take a look at the Grammys, and I don't get political on our show or even in our group, but the Grammys basically was a complete shit show because they focused so much on politics in it.
And political correctness.
Not political correctness, no, pushing their agendas, their political agenda. I'm sorry, that is not a stage to push political agendas. No, it's just not, and I don't care who you are. That's why I keep it out of our show. I keep it off of our Facebook group because that's not a place. This stuff is it's a place to get away from all that.
Yeah.
To enjoy yourself.
And we do immediately shut it down.
And we do, and they should too. It's absolutely appalling that they allow it on those shows. They all should be ashamed of themselves.
But they're not.
But they're not. They're just going to keep doing it, and it's a mess. So that's really why I'm not going to watch. I'm probably not going to watch the Oscars. I'll probably just see who won this year. All the lists once it's released. So.
Oh, hey, for entertainment, I know this is a little late. How about the XFL coming back? I don't know what made that pop in my head, but
yeah, I'm pumped about it. Definitely interesting to see what happens with that.
I hope it lasts more than 1 year like the last one did.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Would be nice.
Anyway, sorry about that. I want to get a football.
All right, jumping to comic book films because this episode's going real long.
Yeah, mister, I don't have a main topic, but here we are.
Comic book film movies. Fox supposedly held a test screening for Deadpool 2 for a few select fans, and that's about all the information we have about that. Yeah. So they probably signed some, NDA, like can't talk about it, anything like that. So we probably won't hear anything about Deadpool 2 for probably another couple months. No, I take that back. We'll hear something because I have a question for you. When you think of Valentine's Day, what do you think of?
It's a time for love and candy and flowers and
sex.
Tons of doing sex at people, but in a respectable way.
Doing sex at people.
But in a respectable way.
Well, most importantly, what it should be remembered for is the day that Deadpool released in 2016.
That's fucking hilarious.
Well, this year we will be seeing the first full trailer of Deadpool 2 on Valentine's Day, according to reports. This is so it can play with Black Panther, which comes out on the 16th.
Makes sense.
So, yeah. It's a 2-year anniversary from when Deadpool came out.
Yeah, it's funny. It comes out 2 years after it.
Yeah, so it works out that way. But yeah, we're definitely going to see some new footage, which I'm real excited about because, I just watching, the John Wick 2 again, knowing that kind of action is probably what's going to be in Deadpool 2. That makes me real excited. Speaking of Fox and their Marvel properties, it seems Hans Zimmer has been tagged to score X-Men Dark Phoenix.
Yay.
Yeah, I don't hate it. It doesn't make me any more excited about seeing Dark Phoenix than I already am, and I'm not that excited to see it. But
which universe do you think? Well, it's going to take place in the old X-Men universe.
In the old X-Men universe, yes. Again,
I guess I've answered my question beforehand.
People need to just get into their head that these characters that we're seeing in these X-Men movies now are not going to be the characters that we see
in
when the
5
MCU
years.
and X-Men combine. Exactly. It's just not going to happen. And if the MCU does try and shoehorn this universe into it, that's probably going to be when I walk away completely from the MCU because it just doesn't make sense and you can't make it make sense.
Well, poor writing. That done did Captain America. You make that mutant gene, don't make the X-Men.
I'm going to jump to DC Films. Nightwing director Chris McKay.
Okay. Chris McKay.
You do that so well.
What about Chris McKay? Chris McKay, he responded.
McKay. He responded.
McKay?
Stop it.
What do you want to tell me about Chris McKay?
He responded
What did he respond to, McKay?
a tweet about his upcoming film, Nightwing.
Okay.
He goes, it's too early to talk about casting, but in February, say around Valentine's Day, maybe, it should have an update about where everything is with the first Nightwing movie.
Okay,
Maybe some casting, something like that, some ideas. Maybe a release date will be announced. Something. I think we're going to get something at that time. So we'll see. Hey, less than 2 minutes, Colton. When you think of things that last less than 2 minutes, what do you think of?
Myself.
Yourself? In what regard?
Doing sex with people, but in a respectable way.
Well, I'm not talking about sex, Colton.
Oh, I thought we were still talking about Deadpool. My bad.
No, the Return of Superman deleted scene in the home release of Justice League will be less than 2 minutes.
Yay.
Yeah.
Can we just get did the good cut. Can we just cut the shit and get the good cut
Can
already?
we just get the good cut? No, if there's 2 extra or less than 2 extra minutes is not enough for you when it comes to Superman, don't worry, because it seems that we will be getting some more screen time of the Man of Steel in the upcoming Shazam film. However, this is just a rumor. To me, I think it's a brilliant move to show those unfamiliar with the big red cheese that he is actually in the same universe. That's a nickname of Shazam, the big red cheese.
I know, but it caught me off guard.
But no, I think it's a brilliant idea because, there's going to be people that, okay, they see the DC logo, but they're not going to really correlate the universe.
Because it's not like we are throwing characters at you left and right.
You have Henry Cavill in there. Boom. Okay, it's part of the Superman universe, and they understand that. I think it's also a chance that even though that opening scene in Justice League is just horrendously shot with the bad CGI face of Henry Cavill, you make that person filming Billy Batson. If you make him Billy Batson...
And make a canon.
Make a canon as Billy Batson, it truly opens up this universe, and you start to enjoy it a lot more. I think
you appreciate it for what it is.
Exactly. So... let's see. Speaking of Captain Marvel, although we're going to the other Captain Marvel on the Marvel side.
We're gonna go down there to the Marvel universe. We're gonna get some Marvel news.
We got the first images, which have quote unquote leaked online, of Carol Danvers in her green costume.
Yeah, they done their green costume. They got the Iron Man, Captain America, yeah.
No, people are freaking out because she's wearing a green costume.
Yeah, that ain't Captain America colors.
All right, enough of that.
I'm just doing it to break you at this point.
No, people are freaking out because she's wearing a green costume, and her real costume is,
America.
Red, blue, white, yellow. Like, that's what it is. And people need to freak out. Now, I've seen since the release that people, the smarter people in the universe have been
all 5 of them.
Been like,
2 of them sitting here.
Look, guys, calm down. If you know anything about Captain Marvel, you know that Captain Marvel is part of the Kree. The Kree have a green uniform that they use, so she's wearing a green uniform there. You could also take it off of the original Captain Marvel, or as he's known, Captain Marvel. As Marvel, like, he had a green costume, So again, this is probably early on in the movie. We're gonna see her real costume. You also have to remember that this movie is taking place in the 90s.
Yeah,
so it's
long before anything we see now.
Exactly. So it's taking place in the 90s. We're going to see a progression because her costume doesn't look good. Like, that costume looks like a TV costume. Yeah. And if you ask me, it makes sense if you're talking about the 90s.
Yeah, it's going to look vintagey.
It's going to look, not as good as something does now. So I'm okay with it. I think it's going to be fine. Brie Larson's hot, although she doesn't have much of an ass in that costume. I'm still going to see the movie, Again, I'm just going to see it.
I like how you said the smarter people in the universe. I want just to point out, because I don't think you heard me, there's 5 of them. 2 of us are sitting at this table.
You put yourself in there? Really?
I would like to think I'm smarter than your average share.
Well, we're going to find out how smart you are when it comes to Marvel Universe shortly.
Hold on.
Now, before we get there, though, what the hell, Marvel? What the fucking hell? So, last week, they promised that we would get a new special sneak peek of Avengers Infinity War this past Wednesday. But what did we get? We got the same trailer that we've had for the past, 3 or 4 months. Mm-hmm. No new footage. They built it up like, hey, you're going to get something new. You're going to get some behind-the-scenes footage. Some not behind-the-scenes, but it was like sneak peek. Like, here's a sneak peek. It was nothing new. There was not a single thing that was new in that trailer.
But they recut it to be different, didn't they?
No, it didn't even seem recut.
Well, fuck.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so it's either...
Marvel forgot about it.
They either forgot about it, or it's just a brilliant marketing move. I don't know.
Question mark.
I don't think it's very brilliant.
Brilliant marketing move for your average chair.
So, yeah, that's what happened there.
I'm sorry. I feel like I need to clear some stuff up. I don't hate Marvel. I just like making fun of people.
I don't hate Marvel either.
I want to clear that up because I feel like people are going to be like, you're making fun of us. But America.
So, you know what this means. Journey to Avengers Infinity War.
Yeah!
The past couple weeks, we began a little segment where we are journeying through the MCU with the help of Colton, recapping all of the films in release order. This is all leading up to Avengers Infinity War. I'm going to turn that down a little bit there. It's all leading up to Avengers Infinity War. So far, we have covered Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2, The Incredible Hulk, and Thor. This week, we're going to have Colton tell us about Captain America, the First Avenger. So tell me, Colton, when does this movie take place?
In I'm trying to think, 40? 30. World War I or 2. One of them.
World War II.
World War II. I couldn't remember the dates. 1938 to 1945. Somewhere around there. I don't remember the exact date.
Who's the main villain?
Hitler?
Of
I'm not wrong.
No, of Captain America.
I know it. Don't tell me.
Think of the color red.
Yeah, the Russians.
No.
Soviet.
No.
Stalin.
Quit just stalling. No, it's not the Russians. Come on, man.
I'm really letting myself down because I watched this the other day, actually. Why can't I think of it?
He's got a weird face thinking of the color red.
The angry thing from Inside Out.
Kind of looks like him.
Steve Buscemi.
His name is Red Skull.
Oh shit! I knew that. Yeah, Red Skull. He's German in my he's a Soviet in my book. That's canon. But like, Captain America is like a wimp before he gets frozen and injected with a whole bunch of memes. Not memes, but I forget. Isn't it like a drug or something? He gets dosed with roids.
Super soldier serum.
Semen. Super soldier semen. But yeah, then he gets like woken up like X years later. Or no, yeah. I'm trying to remember, okay? I'm trying.
Keep going.
I'm trying. So he's like, yeah, I'm Captain America.
America.
And, so he's like a soldier at first, chilling, doing some things. And then he's like, oh man, I'm super strong. And he'd get, oh man, I never paid attention to the drums in this song. And then he's doing Captain America things. He gets the shield and he dons the old vintage Captain America thing, and then he just kicks ass for the next 20 years. Kills Red Skull.
Does he? I don't think he kills Red Skull.
Puts him in jail.
No.
Puts him in that done dare riding hole.
Okay, so
No, I can't remember anything about Captain America. I didn't like Captain America, the first one, the First Avenger. I didn't like it.
Okay.
I know Black Widow makes an appearance there. Doesn't she?
No.
No?
No.
Which one? What the fuck one am I thinking? Oh, fuck.
She's in Winter Soldier.
That's what I'm thinking.
So essentially, yeah, like he's a wimp, he's getting beat up. So he joins the military. He's trying his hardest to get part of the special program. He gets picked because of the heart that he shows, the desire,
because he's the best around.
So he gets picked for the super soldier program. They talk to him. He gets injected with it, and they unveil him, and he's Chris Evans. Like beefy Chris Evans. So, they then, instead of using him as a soldier at first, they just start using him as a gimmick to be on stage to promote.
He's Uncle Sam.
No, not even Uncle Sam. He's Captain America to promote, let's fight the war. This is why we have to fight the war, to beat Hitler, blah, 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 that kind of stuff. Well, he's traveling around Europe, pumping up the troops and stuff like that with their songs and everything with the girls. And he hears about his best friend, Bucky, who is also in the military, is captured with his, battalion, platoon, whatever, is captured by the Germans. So he takes it upon himself to go rescue them. And that's where he gets his helmet with the A on it, finally, So he goes and
ass pirate.
Yeah, so he goes and saves them, and then at that point they're like, oh shit, this Captain America can actually do shit, So now they start using him in missions and everything like that. So they find out about a weapon that Red Skull is going to be using, and Hydra is going to be using, and it's on this train. So they go run to try to get it on the train to get this weapon to destroy it. And unfortunately what happens is Bucky is killed and thrown out of the train and thrown off, and he's killed. So like
he didn't have his plot armor on yet.
Exactly. So Steve's all upset about it, blah blah blah, that kind of thing. Eventually, what the Red Skull is looking for is he's looking for what is essentially the Tesseract. It is the Tesseract. He's looking for the Tesseract, and to utilize to power his weapons that he's using, these special weapons. So Captain America and Red Skull come face to face, about with the Tesseract. The Tesseract opens up a portal. Red Skull gets pulled through the Tesseract, and that he's out in space somewhere because of the Tesseract. And Steve Rogers, they're on a plane when this happens, and the plane crashes into like the Arctic or something like that, and he's frozen in the Arctic for 60 years, 50 years. So
What about, like, does the natural laws of, like, space occur in the Marvel universe? Because, like, technically saying, wouldn't he be dead?
what, Red Skull?
Yeah.
Nobody knows.
So the laws of space do not apply there.
I mean, who knows? Like, we don't know. Like, is he floating in space, or did he get pulled like Thor did? Get pulled out onto another planet. That kind of stuff. Like,
I guess that makes sense.
Never know.
And we're never gonna.
Now that was a bit different because he was pulled out of the Bifrost.
Yeah.
But this could be. You don't know. Like, they could. The potential is there to bring Red Skull back at some point, which I really wish they would do because I think he's a great character.
Bring him back in Infinity War. Why not?
Cool.
Just be like, hey, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. So that has been our journey to Avengers Infinity War, and
I'm sorry, I'm like really
Avenger.
I'm what, 2 for 5?
yeah.
What's next week's?
What is next week's? Oh, Avengers.
I know that one.
So
I'll be at 50%. I know a good chunk of that one. I won't get everything, but I got most of the major plot points.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, but Avengers is next week, and then after that, I think it's Thor 2.
Didn't see that one.
Iron Man 3.
Didn't see that one.
And Age of Ultron.
Really? There has to be another movie in there.
No. Winter Soldier, then Age of Ultron.
Okay, I've seen Winter Soldier.
Think.
I actually genuinely liked Winter Soldier.
Oh, I love Winter Soldier. It's number
really
one. It's Guardians, and then Winter Soldier, and then Iron Man. Those are my top 3.
I haven't seen Iron Man 3, nor have I seen
Not Iron
Thor
Man
2.
3. Not Iron Man 3. Fuck Iron Man 3. Iron Man 3 is horrible.
Yeah, but I gotta fucking recap it.
Yeah.
Thor 2, I'd never seen either. I didn't really care for Thor 1, that's why I never really... Thor 1 was okay. And I was like, I didn't care enough to see Thor 2. And I saw Thor Ragnarok. Didn't miss anything.
No, not at all. Not at all. Yeah, I guess that's about it then.
Yeah, we've done some stuff.
We've
We
done
done did
some
that done there.
We did not their episode.
We talk about the Captain Marvel and when talking about America. I'm gonna go get me a PBR.
All right. Well,
Okay.
thanks for listening, everyone. Hopefully you come back next week after this.
Hi, Jordan.
And I guess we'll talk to you later.
It's been real, guys. It's been real.